Brian Shoemaker comes from the Navy. He won this title in 1981, and he was runner-up last year to Tyrone Falls. Tonight, he faces a really useful Scottish champion who lives in Nottinghamshire, Russell Barker. The bell brings them up for the last 3 minutes in this middleweight final, and the tall man from the Navy, able seaman Brian Shoemaker, who won this title 3 years ago and was runner-up last year, and the short figure of the Scottish champion Russell Barker, who boxes out of St Francis in Dundee but actually lives these days in Bulwell in Nottinghamshire. And these two have had a right old set to. Barker, as you can see, despite his lack of inches, is a really tough and aggressive opponent. And Shoemaker, despite that long reach, hasn't always been able to keep him away. Shoemaker, who'll be 24 in 10 days' time, is certainly the most experienced man in top class in these finals. Been around a long time in good class. And he's unbeaten since he lost in the final here last year. He's got the upper hand on Barker here, but Barker's making him go all the way. Good punches coming in from this Navy diver. Comes from Liverpool, married man with a son, Shoemaker. Controversial win in the semi-finals at Preston 2 weeks ago. Remember, the Welshman Dennis Cronin dropped him at the end of the second round with a punch that seemed to land after the bell. Shoemaker was led to his corner. The Welshman wasn't penalised. And Shoemaker came out to survive the third round and take a split decision. And Barker most certainly is making it hard for Shoemaker. The tremendous spirit of this Scot really is remarkable, and Shoemaker is saying something and told to keep quiet. Barker boxed for Scotland in the Commonwealth Games in Brisbane in '82. A really rugged, hard punching, hard fought final, this one. Shoemaker getting a bit fed up with having Barker so close to him. Tremendous effort by Barker in the last round, but it may not be enough. And Shoemaker is proclaiming victory, probably rightly. Well, it goes to the judges, and they're the ones who will decide.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner by unanimous decision and champion at middleweight in the 1984 national finals, Shoemaker, red corner.
Brian Shoemaker, the diver from the Royal Navy, beaten in the final last year, wins this year, as indeed he did in 1981. So this man keeps up really good form throughout the years, and once again, he is the national champion. Well, we've seen this one before at light heavyweight, because Tony Wilson from Wolverhampton is the reigning champion, and Clive Everett from Manchester is the man he beat in the final last year. And we come to the final 3 minutes of this light heavyweight final, which, in all honesty, has been a really messy scrap up to now. The reigning champion, Tony Wilson from Wolverhampton, is in the all-white strip with those extraordinarily baggy pants. And Clive Edwards from Manchester, from the Manco Club, in this repeat of last year's final. Wilson won on points then. He's got the reach on Edwards. Edwards has been trying to make some aggressive moves, and Wilson, for the most part, has been content to smother them. It hasn't been worthy of an ABA final by any means. Wilson, a very experienced international, but he's had a long and hard season. In fact, he's hardly had any rest at all since he won here last year. And he's showing signs of end-of-season staleness, hardly surprising. Edwards is a good puncher, but he's been swinging them from way back, and they've been landing with the inside of the glove. Edwards, the Northern Countess champion for the second year. Married man with a young daughter, Claire, and always for luck, he carries his daughter's handkerchief tucked inside his glove. It's Clive Edwards going through the ropes. Being pushed there, according to the referee. Nice little left hook there from Wilson. So there's some better punching in this final round, and most of it coming from Wilson. Wilson, a gold medal winner in Greece last June, a bronze medal winner in East Germany in September. And we're in the ABA semi-finals over the Welsh champion Abner Blackstock. Edwards beat the Glasgow policeman Eddie Miles. In the closing half minute now, and both having cautions for various misdemeanors. Well, it's improved marginally in the final round, but not much. Not a very edifying final. Second caution for holding. Public warning for Edwards. Well, I think Wilson had done enough to win this, and that public warning will, I suspect, put it beyond all doubt. And Wilson seems very glad to break it off at the finish. And there might be one or two in the audience who would agree with that.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner by unanimous decision and champion at light heavyweight in the 1984 National Finals, Wilson Red Corner.
And Tony Wilson from Wolverhampton retains the title he won here last year and beats the same man again. Dougie Young from Scotland faces John Ferruccio for Wales in this heavyweight final, and they meet for the title that Frank Bruno won here in 1980. So we come to the last 3 minutes of this heavyweight final. John Ferruccio, all in white, from Wales, and Dougie Young from Hawick in the border country. And Ferruccio's been under heavy fire. A standing count in the second round over him when Young caught him with several good punches. But this Cardiff docker from the Prince of Wales club in Cardiff is a tough man, but he's under heavy fire again. In the semi-finals at Preston 2 weeks ago, Ferruccio pulled it out of the fire with one right hand in the third round. But it'll be a miracle if he does it here. Ferruccio was up against Horace Miles in Preston, and he wasn't mapped for 2 rounds, and then suddenly overcame one right hand in the third, and that was that. But I don't think he's going to produce it somehow tonight against this man with the long reach. Dougie Young, Scottish champion, and the Scots haven't won this title since 1976. John Rafferty was the last man to do it for Scotland. But Young's well on top here, And unless Ferruccio can produce that big right hand again, he's not going to win this. Leaning on. Both getting very tired now. Ferruccio in trouble again. He's had a standing count in the second round and another one in the third. Only his 19th contest in all. This docker from Cardiff now, badly winded, hurt, being allowed to continue in this final round. A minute left. I suspect one more good attack by Young might persuade the referee to stop this. Tremendous triumph for Young if he wins this title. Unfancied and virtually unknown outside of Scotland before this year. And now he's on the brink of becoming the national heavyweight champion. Quite a capable performance from Young. He's kept on top through all three rounds. The bell goes, and Ferruccio was never able to summon the big right hand this time. And there cannot be any question as to who's won. It's this man, Young from Scotland.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner by a unanimous decision and champion in heavyweight in the 1984 national finals, Young, red corner.
And Young it is. Young from Hawick, Scotland, get their first ABA heavyweight champion since 1976. Good performance by this man. We come now to the final bout of the night, and the heaviest man of all, the super heavies, Everett McLain from Oxford, 16.5 stone of him. And here he meets Bobby Wells from the Kingston Boys Club, who was beaten early in these championships, but got back because another man dropped out. And so the giants come together for the final 3 minutes of this championship. The burly figure in the red singlet of Everett Buster McLain, 25 years old, from the Oxford YMCA Club, and the blonde figure of Bobby Wells from the Kingston Boys Club, who stands 6 feet 5 inches and is most certainly the luckiest man in these championships. He was beaten at the England semi-final stage by the defending champion, Marine Keith Ferdinand. Well, when Ferdinand didn't put in an appearance at Preston for the ABA semi-finals, they let Wells back in. And so now he has this second chance. McLain has been trying for years and years to get to an ABA final. Never succeeded before, but he's got Wells rocking in the final round with a big left. Bobby Wells, the son of Billy Wells, who won the ABA heavyweight championship twice in 1965 and 68. And was captain of Britain's Olympic team in Mexico City in 68. And Wells is rocking. And a standing count. That's the second standing count of this contest. McLain was given one in the first round. So now it's very close. And these last few moments are likely to decide it. Wells was firing the right hand in the second round, and he needs it again now. McLain on the right, a welder. And Wells, a lorry driver for the London Electricity Board. And Wells is coming back and getting on top again with the right. Solid thumping from big men, bringing these ABA championships to a close for 1984. The 96 championships, sponsored by George Wimple. And once more, McLain comes back. The last few seconds, close. There it is. And like so many of these finals tonight, it goes to the three judges for the decision. Bobby Wells. Has he won a title, as his father did all those years ago? Everett McLain, his 5th or 6th year, I think, of trying to get to Wembley. Made it at last, but has he won the championship? He looks out on his feet. So these important championships almost over now. The bouts tonight will decide in a week's time, when the selectors meet, who's to be chosen for Britain's Olympic boxing team in Los Angeles. Judges' slips now being scrutinized by officials. And this big crowd at the Wembley Arena preparing to go home. Don't forget that tomorrow, just across the road from here at the stadium, the Rugby League Challenge Cup final takes place between Widnes and Wigan, and you'll be able to see that in Grandstand. Grandstand opens up at 12:30 on BBC One. Now the final decision of 84.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner by a unanimous decision and champion at super heavyweight in the 1984 national finals, Wells Blue Corner.
Bobby Wells, what an extraordinary story. He was put out in the England semi-finals by Keith Ferdinand, but he got back into the championships and he comes through to win. An amazing story. And of course, a second ABA title for the Wells family. His father won 2 ABA titles at heavyweight in 65 and 68, and now son Bobby does it in 84. So another ABA championships are finished. Just before we leave Wembley, let's look at the list of tonight's champions. The roll of honour, starting with light flyweight, John Lyon winning the title for the 4th year running. Pat Clinton, good win for Scotland there at flyweight. John Hyland successfully defended the bantam title, didn't look too impressive. Kevin Taylor goes one better than last year at feather. Alec Dixon, good campaigner and a deserved win. David Griffiths, another man who went one better this year at light welter. Big punching Michael Hughes, he was one of the sensations of the night. And Roderick Douglas successfully defended his title, not without a shock. Brian Shoemaker, another good performance from him. Tony Wilson successfully defended the light heavyweight title. Dougie Young, a new star from Scotland at heavyweight, and Bobby Wells emulates his father and wins an ABA title. Well, that's the end of this season's amateur boxing, and I suppose the next time you join us for amateur boxing, it will be from Los Angeles in the Olympics in July and August. Let's close now with just reminding ourselves how Britain's top Olympic prospect, Rod Douglas, very nearly came to grief in these championships. Good night.